Starcasting to you from the City of Angels. Hi, everyone. My name is Kiris. Thank you so much for being here and listening to the Voice of Astrology podcast. Astrology is the eternal, indestructible superpower of the cosmos. And if you're looking for the force and freedom to make your own choices in life, to live the life that you want to live, then you've come to the right place. All you have to do is look up and look within, as above, so below. This is our astrology for the week beginning Sunday, September 4th through Saturday, September 10th, 2022. Journey with astrology, and let's explore how to connect with the stars, the planets, the energies for our new week ahead. Now, this week, we're starting off with Venus moving into the sign of Virgo, which is her fall. And as far as Venus goes, you know, Venus was called the Queen of Heaven, the jewel of the night sky by the ancients. And right now, Venus is a morning star. If you get a chance to go out and see Venus shining so brightly in the early morning hours, do that, because after September 15th, Venus is going to go under the beams. She'll be in what's called inferior conjunction with the sun. She won't be visible in the sky, the night or the morning sky. We won't get to see Venus until December. So do this for yourself, because besides the sun and the moon, the two luminaries, Venus is the brightest light in the sky. You can't miss her. And she's so beautiful to see, and we don't get to see her for a while after September 15th, when she is under the beams of the sun, and we don't see the Queen of Heaven until the month of December. Now, along with that, on this Sunday, September 4th, Venus leaves the sign of Leo and falls into the sign of Virgo. Now, Venus is a lot of things, and Venus is, she's peace, she's harmony. Venus is feeling good, the law of attraction. When Venus goes into Virgo, which by dignity is called its fall, then it takes more effort for Venus. And all of us have Venus somewhere in our chart. We have the planet Venus. It takes more effort to stay in balance, to stay calm and centered and peaceful, to stay in harmony. Venus in her fall in Virgo, it's cranky, it's annoyed by little things, it's crotchety. And when we're cranky and not getting enough rest and peace and enjoyment, because Venus, of course, is all the pleasures of life. Venus is laughter and beauty. And you know, when you feel beautiful, how that just affects the day, the energy. When you're just feeling good, you feel pretty. And Venus is the aesthetic. All of the things, makeup, hair, clothes, beauty, keeping things pleasing. So with Venus in her fall of Virgo and not visible in the sky, then it takes more effort to make sure that we keep those essential things in life, keeping the peace, counting to 10. I'm recording this from the City of Angels, and we're in the middle of a serious heat wave. And you can just observe how people feel, the behavior when it's too hot. And Venus has a lot to do with the temperature being temperate, the temperature being balanced. Like Venus in Taurus corresponds to the springtime. And so we're in the month of May, for instance, and it's not too cold, it's not too hot, it's just right. So you can already see with this heat wave here in Los Angeles how the temperature being out of balance, out of whack, how that affects the mood and behavior of people. And this connects to the planet Venus, because Venus at her best is everything is just right. So when Venus goes into her fall of Virgo, which means Venus doesn't have the readily tools as available, let's say, as Venus in Libra, which is going to happen at the end of September when Venus goes home to her castle. That I will get to. But when Venus is in her fall, it just takes more thought, awareness, we could say, effort to keep things in harmony and to feel good, to make sure that you get some playtime in, that you get a lot of rest, that you just keep yourself feeling good. Because again, Venus in her fall in the sign of Virgo can be critical, it can be nitpicky, it can be picking a fight just because, again, you're not feeling as comfortable as perhaps you usually do. And Virgo is the worker bee. Virgo loves to work endlessly. And when we have a peaceful, pleasure-oriented planet like Venus in the sign of work until you drop, Virgos are in love with their work. That's what they love to do. That's their work. Work is pleasure to a Virgo. But work is not pleasurable to Venus at her best. So keep that in mind. We're in September, it's Virgo season. We're off and running. But try to keep it in balance. Be aware of that, because Venus in Virgo is inclined to burn both ends of the candle, which is out of balance, of course. And you're ready to drop because you're overworked. And that doesn't make the best recipe for peace and harmony. So this is Venus in Virgo, and she will be there until September 29th. Then she goes home to Venus in Libra, her castle, where it gets more light, more pleasant, more happy. Venus is also happiness. All the things in life that bring us joy, what makes life worth living. That's Venus at her best, but not in her fall, not in the sign of Virgo. And let's take a look at what else is going on. So we've got Venus about to go under the beams, not visible until December. She is also going into her fall sign of Virgo. Also this Sunday, September 4th, we have the moon entering Capricorn. Now the moon in Capricorn is its detriment, its exile. The moon in Capricorn is the furthest away from its home placement of having the moon in Cancer. The moon at home in Cancer, or the moon in a favorable sign, is being in touch with how you feel, what you want, what you're feeling, and expressing and being connected, because the moon is all about connection to your feelings. Now, the moon going into Capricorn as we start off the week, the moon also rules over the public, the everyday matters of life, all the things that we have in common. We all go to the grocery store and the bank and go shopping and all the daily things that the public does, wants, and needs, because the moon is about our needs as well. This falls under the jurisdiction of the moon. And we are moving towards the full moon culmination in Pisces. We're in the quadrant of the moon that corresponds, has a connection to summertime, the energy more intense, things heating up, the energy becoming more powerful. Yet the moon in Capricorn is the public as a whole feeling disconnected. I hear so much as an astrologer, people saying that they feel lost, that they feel disconnected, that they're trying to find their home. Where is home? And so look at how we're starting off the week by dignity. The moon in Capricorn in her exile, the orphan child trying to find where they belong, trying to figure out how they feel. The feelings can be confusing, to say the least, when the moon is in her exile, the furthest away from the moon at home in Cancer. These are also the two feminine planets, the moon in Venus, which is your instincts, your intuition. Everybody has intuition. You're born with it. And when you trust your intuition, when you trust your knowing, when you're not disconnected from it, that's when you have that feeling of, yes, I'm not lost. I'm not far from home. I'm connected to my true authentic self, or what I call the inner child, true authentic self. So we're starting off this week, this Sunday, the sun's day, with the two planets that are intuitive, balanced, happy, in harmony, in sync, in touch with, in not good placements, moon in Capricorn, Venus in Virgo. So what do? Awareness is the key. We become aware and are aware as we start off the week with the energies not connecting the way they could. So we put forth that effort, that awareness to say, I've got to stay connected to my feelings. I've got to make extra care, special care, that I'm keeping myself in balance and in harmony, and most importantly, relaxed, centered, relaxed. Go for a hike, go for a yoga class. Keep yourself centered and breathe. Because when we do those things for us, then we feel that balance and harmony and connection, being in touch with who and what we are and how we feel. Try to eat healthy food as much as you can, because we know now that food has a very strong effect on our moods and how we're feeling. So this is why the cosmos and the cosmic superpower, why it's guiding us. It's guiding us in the sense of be in touch with those things, be aware of these things, reflect on these things, and then you will feel so much better and not lost and ungrounded. Also, Capricorn, Virgo, these are earth signs. What makes us feel better than nature and animals? Not much. So do the best you can with staying in touch with nature, animals, and what it takes to keep yourself centered and grounded. We are also now in what's called Mercury's shadow storm period. So Mercury has slowed down. We're not officially in Mercury retrograde yet, but we are in Mercury's shadow cycle, which is slow it down. Take a second and third look. Also rest the mind. Mercury, the brain, the mind. Sometimes your mind needs to just vegetate and not think about anything. See what works for you. For me, for some reason, when I just look at different properties, just vegetating, looking at different properties and real estate. For whatever reason, that's my way of resting the brain and vegetating. Whatever it is for you, do that. Give the Mercury in its storm shadow cycle a rest, whatever vegetating your brain means for you. Now, when we go into the beginning of the week, when we go into Monday, September 5th, we still have the moon. Happy, safe Labor Day to everyone, by the way, September 5th. Now, we still have the moon in Capricorn, her exile, but the moon in Capricorn will make a square to Mercury in Libra. We're looking at two cardinal leadership signs of the zodiac. And with the moon in Capricorn making that square to Mercury in Libra, this is really the count to 10. Do I really need to say that? Because it can be a conflict over who's going to win the argument. And with the moon in her exile, it wouldn't be the moon in her exile. It would be Mercury in a friendly air triplicity of Libra. Now, Libra is the law. Libra is justice. So what can seem like a simple little conversation can turn into a full-on debate if we're not aware of that. And the energy simply isn't there to try to win a war of words. Also, the moon in Capricorn makes a square to Jupiter in Aries, another cardinal sign of the zodiac. The square between the moon in Capricorn and Jupiter retrograde in Aries is about the past or the future. Which way do we go? You don't have to decide. The whole point of Labor Day is about taking it easy from your labors, from your work. Don't get into it with these cardinal forces going on. Cardinal is fast, it's quick, it's let's decide, let's get going. It can be very, very impatient. And this is not the time where there's a lot of energy to do so. So don't take the hook. Don't take the bait. Don't send the hook and don't take the hook. Let it go, move on, and relax. When we get into Tuesday, September 6th, the moon does change signs. The moon will move into fixed air Aquarius. So when the moon is in fixed air Aquarius, this is wanting the future, wanting to visualize and imagine how life can and will be in the future. So the moon comes back from her exile and goes into Aquarius, which is the freedom, the movement. Let's go forward. Let's take that quantum leap forward. It's also about the people, because Aquarius is the people and how the trends, let's say, of the future are going to go. Then when we get to Wednesday, September 7th, the moon in Aquarius makes some really nice, favorable, positive connections. The moon in Aquarius will make a sextile to Jupiter in Aries. That's that interplay of air and fire and how the air feeds the flames of Jupiter in Aries, meaning the excitement, the enthusiasm, the exuberance, that mixture, that blending of air and fire. Then the moon in Aquarius makes a really nice air trine flow to Mercury in Libra. Get a couple of air signs together, a bunch of air signs together, and we can just keep talking forever and forever. The conversation just keeps going. And then the moon in Aquarius makes an air trine flow to Mars in Gemini, ruled by Mercury. So this Mars in Gemini cycle that we're having, that's going on for many months with this air trine flow from the moon, this actually can be a very positive outcome with this decision and this discussion with the moon in Aquarius trine Mars in Gemini. It's about the actions that you want to take, not just thinking and talking about it, but what you're going to do about it, because Mars is the male activating principle, which is, yes, we can talk and visualize, but now it's time to take action, to do something with this Mars in Gemini. When we go into Thursday, September 8th, we have the moon in Aquarius making a square aspect to Uranus in Taurus. Now, these are sudden and unexpected emotions coming up, being expressed. Also, you may be surprised because we're looking at the planet Uranus. You may be a little surprised and shocked by yourself as far as having new insights as far as what you really want, what you want to change in your life. The planet Uranus is about breaking free, having change in your life. And Uranus is in Taurus, fixed earth Taurus, the way it's always been, the way it's always been done. And the moon in Aquarius is not want change at this time, want to rebel a little bit against the way it's always been done for years and years and years. And you may be a little surprised by what you discover in yourself as far as what you want to take action for change in your life. Later on in the evening, the moon moves into Pisces, mutable water Pisces, ruled by Jupiter. We are now in waxing gibbous moon. We're almost at the moment of the full culmination of the full moon moment. There's still more room for growth because the moon is not completely full yet, but it is waxing gibbous. It's that time where you're almost there to that moment of awareness with the full moon in Pisces. Now, before we get to that exact moment of the full moon in Pisces at 17 degrees, on Friday, Mercury stations. Mercury stands still, takes a pause from our perspective before Mercury is full on retrograde. So with the Mercury stationing, it's about taking a moment and looking at the relationships in your life. What relationships are in harmony, Mercury station retrograde in Libra, and what relationships are not. Now, Libra is all about the togetherness. It's marriage. It's the sense of us, the sense of we. Everything in the zodiacal wheel corresponds to a different stage of development. So when we look at Leo, for instance, we're looking at the stage of development in life where the rebellious teenager that has to express, has to create, has to rebel and go their own way. Then we go to Virgo, which is the single young person, not married yet, that has to go out into the world and deal with all the practical matters of life, meaning work, getting a job, having a career, how to handle money, this kind of thing. And then when we get to the sign of Libra, which is a sign above the horizon in the zodiac chart, in the zodiac wheel, Libra is about, well, what about other people? It's not just about me. The first 6 signs of the zodiac are below the horizon. That we could say as an overall is the infancy and childhood stages of development, where infants and children, they have to take. They can't do it for themselves yet. They're not ready. They simply can't. We can't, see a 3-year-old saying, all right, I'm out of here. I'm going to blow this popsicle stand. I'm going out on my own. They're not ready yet. But then when we get to Libra, and now we're above the horizon in the chart, and we're at the stage of development, which corresponds to the other person, to marriage. Then we're at the stage of development where it's now time to develop how to relate and get along with other people. We're also at that stage of development where it's about the relationships, the partnerships that we create in life can have an influence and effect for years to come, and then some. For instance, your first jobs, your first relationships, those friendships and relationships can last for decades. And so when Mercury stands still on Venus's day, Friday, September 9th, and Mercury is stationing in the sign of Libra, this is that pause that says, okay, how do I get along with others? What are the relationships in my life? How can I make the relationships better? Not just the marriage, but creating cooperation and harmony. Because when we, as a whole, cooperate, we advance. When there's conflict and division and fighting, it's very difficult to advance forward. So taking that look, thinking about Mercury, about do we move forward when we cooperate and work together? And one of the beauties of Libra is that Libra looks at all different sides to an opinion and a situation before it makes its final judicial decision. Libra as a sign can appear to be very argumentative if you don't understand the intention behind it. Someone can say it's dark, Libra will say, no, it's light. Someone can say it's up, Libra will say, no, it's down. The reason why Libra does that is because Libra ultimately, the intention is for everything to end up fair and balanced and harmonious. So Libra can appear to be very, not only indecisive, but at times argumentative, because it's just in the nature of Libra and the stage of development they're in the zodiacal stages of development, to look at all different points of view before the final decision is made. And this is connecting to our Mercury retrograde and stationing retrograde in Libra. Do we cooperate and move forward? Or do we divide and not move forward? I think it's pretty safe to say that for the most part, when it comes to conspiracy theories and all kinds of things, and don't trust the government and this, that, and the other, I think it's fair to say that by this point, after years of hearing about it, we've all gotten the memo. Nobody pretty much is in shock anymore. And it's not news anymore. Mercury also rules over the news and information. But it's not a shock anymore to talk conspiracy theories, no matter how far out they sound. Where are the visionaries? Where are the Imagineers, as they say at Disney? The Imagineers. This is what we need now. This is where we should be going. people using their minds and their imaginations and their visualization to say, okay, we all know about the conspiracy and don't trust this and don't trust that. How do we move forward now? What's the vision of the future? We've done conspiracy to death already. We've all gotten the memo. So this Mercury stationing in Libra is, are we going to cooperate and move forward or stay stuck in what we've been stuck in? I have seen families, marriages as a professional astrologer, families, marriages, partnerships completely crumble over differences of opinion that should be open to conversation, or at least open to understanding and consideration. Or we're not cooperating and we're not moving forward. That's a lot about what this Mercury retrograde in Libra is about. And also this long cycle of Mars in Gemini, which is a war of words. It's also the Mars return for the United States chart. Our chart has Mars in Gemini. More conflict and war of words? Or where are the visionaries? When we get to Saturday, the full moon at 17 degrees Pisces, that full culmination point, then Pisces as the last sign of the zodiac, which is Pisces having gone through all of the trials and tribulations, all the lessons of all the signs of the zodiac, because each sign of the zodiac is a teacher and a student, both at the same time. Each sign has something specific to show and express, and specific things to learn about and try to master. So when we have this full moon at Pisces, 17 degrees, the second division or decadent of a 30-degree sign, we're looking at Pisces and we're bringing in a Cancerian influence. That's the second division, the second decadent of Pisces. Now, this full moon in Pisces is about non-judgment and compassion, because Pisces, as a deeply spiritual, compassionate sign, because it's been through it all, as an evolution, as the last sign of the zodiac, and a watery, mutable water sign, mutable meaning to change, to adapt, to be flexible, to not be fixed in one thing with the emotions. Pisces is about the non-judgment compassion of all people and all of their experiences and everything that people have been through and why they've done what they've done. This is our full moon in Pisces. And the second decadent, which is the Cancerian influence, is the influence of this is our home and we're all family. So with compassion and non-judgment to all of our family members, at least trying to understand. You can disagree. Not everybody's going to agree with everything. That wouldn't be balanced. So disagree, have your own opinion, but trying to understand at least where and why the other person is coming from, where they're coming from, is very much about this full moon in Pisces at 17 degrees. With the Cancerian, the moon, home, family, we're all at home on this planet. This is our home. And we're all connected like family. So if we don't start listening and at least trying to understand then we're not cooperating and moving forward, or at least trying to. All we can do is try to do the best that we can try to do. After the full moon culmination awareness point, then the moon will go into cardinal fire Aries. And that's about, yeah, let's go, excitement, enthusiasm, brand new, the infant. We'll get to that. But the thread for this week, or the cosmic superpower, let's say, is to start off the week with being really good to yourself. Be as kind to yourself as possible. If something is upsetting you, if someone wants, please let them go in front in line. We never know what people are going through. Maybe they're driving and cutting you off because they've got to get to the hospital or something. We don't know. That's the thing. We don't know. So starting off the week with being as kind to yourself as you possibly can be. Disengage from the negativity and walk on. Don't take the hook. Then Mercury is slowing down, which means just slow down your mind. And of course, Mercury is transportation and cars and driving. Be more careful on the road. Count to 10 before you say something. Mercury's communication. Mercury's the news. Don't just react. Think it through. Mercury at its best. Think it through. Then when we have those beautiful air trine flows connected to the moon in Aquarius, this is lighter. It's lighter energy. It's moving forward. It's about freedom. Then Mercury stations, retrograde. That's about the harmony and peace in your relationships and cooperation, if possible. And the full moon in Pisces, last sign of the zodiac, is the non-judgment. I don't judge because I haven't got a clue. I don't know what someone's going through or why they are the way they are. Pisces, full moon in Pisces, okay, I'll at least try to understand and listen. And that will help greatly to just move things forward to a much more peaceful way of being. So this is our cosmic superpower for the week. Happy full moon in Pisces. They're always awe-inspiring, the full moons, just to see the cosmos in all of its glory. And if you've never gone outside city lights and done so, the difference will just blow your mind. Do that for yourself sometime. Anyway, thank you so much for being here and listening to the Voice of Astrology podcast. I will see you all in the stars. Happy full moon, everyone. Thank you so much.